What if we took Conway's game of life and made some changes? In Conway's game of life, a cell can be in one of two states, either dead or alive. But let's say we let a cell be in one of three states, dead, alive red, or alive blue. And we'll make the logical assumptions for the propagation rules. So let me turn on 3 cells blue, and then we will start the generations moving. So we'll let this increment, and you can see that the flasher has gone in the other direction. If I increment again, it goes back to the original direction. It acts very much like the regular Conway's game of life. If I just start the generations going back and forth, it oscillates. So let's go ahead and stop that. So we're at generation 38. It's a little bit small to see, but it's down here. Let me turn on 3 cells red. And again, once again, we'll start and see what happens as we continue. Then these cells oscillate blue and these cells oscillate red. Let me stop that. Let me turn on some cells, 1 cell red and a couple cells blue, and see what happens if we increment that. Everything turned blue. So what we're gonna say is that if when a cell comes to life, if it's in touch with exactly 3 live cells, if more of them are blue, it will come to life blue, and if more of them are red, it will come to life red. Since a cell only comes to life if it's in touch with exactly 3 live cells, either red or blue is going to be in the majority, because 3 is an odd number. Let me just clear everything here. So we'll clear everything. I hit the initialize button. So now we're back at generation 0. I want to make another change to the game of life. In the game of life, usually you set whatever you want in the field, which of course is usually assumed to be infinite. And then you just start the generations going. Let's say you have absolutely no control in generation 0 or any other generation of any of the cells here, but you have complete control. Let's say we'll have 2 players, one which is blue and one which is red. And let's say the blue player has complete control of these 3 cells down here, not only at generation 0, but at any time. So at any time, they have complete control over those 3 cells. Then what blue wants to do is use the complete control they have at any time of these 3 cells to affect all the cells out here. So let's say in generation 0, I don't know why that's not working. It's working up here. Oops. Just turn stuff off. So I don't know why I can't seem to turn. Okay, I can turn. Oh, I see. So I forgot how so obviously it's not going to let me control these 3 cells. That's part of the coding. But let me just pretend I'm controlling these 3 cells. Let me turn them all on blue. So instead of doing that lowest row, I'll do the row above. So let's say we turn everything on. I mean to do this bottom layer, but it's not letting me, so I'll do the layer right above that. And then I'll increment 1 generation. Well, this cell comes on. Now, since we have ultimate control over these 3 cells, let me turn these again on blue. Oops. And increment 1 more generation. Now all 3 of these come on. So we have no direct control over these 3 cells, but we have complete control over these 3 cells at all times. So if we can turn these on in various combinations, then we ought to be able to do various things. Maybe we can get some cell up here to turn on. Maybe we can get these 3 cells somehow to emit a glider or a spaceship or some such. And red is doing the same thing up here. They have ultimate control over the cells up here. Now, technically, these 3 cells right here, even though it's not going to let me touch those cells. And the way we have this set up right now, blue is trying to get a blue cell in red's zone here. And red is trying to get a red cell in blue zone. And whoever does that, the game finishes. If red gets a red cell turned on in blue, then red wins. And if blue gets a blue cell turned on in the red goal area, then blue wins. So we've turned this into a 2-player competitive game. Now, there's another thing we've done. We have sort of preloaded various. So basically what we have here, if you take a look at this, you can see, I don't know if you can see where my pointer is. Let me just move this a little bit closer so you can see a little bit more clearly. If I load this thing in fall beehive into, say, blue, it will turn all 3 of the cells that blue has control over on in the first time period you run this, and then all 3 of those cells again in the second time period you run this, and then just the middle cell will be on, and then the next time period all cells will be off, and this will emit some sort of shape for blue or for red if red loads it in their own. So we have these preloaded shapes in the library, and there are many more of these shapes, and these have been found by past students. They found ways of turning those cells on to do various things. And so you can take these combinations and string them together into longer and longer combinations. You take these things and sort of load them in to your hopper over here, and then you can emit them one after the other. And you can do this as the game is running, as you see what's going on. Let's say you're blue and red has some stuff over here you want to take care of. You can load some stuff into your hopper that will send some blues off in this direction and hopefully dispatch red. Now, the coding for this is still a little bit buggy, so I'm not going to run it right now, but that's the general idea. And I was wearing a shirt in class that said competitive semi-automata, and this is what it was talking about, this innovation on Conway's Game of Life.